Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Song Theory. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Today we're actually talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine and his essentially getting arrested and his possible imprisonment. If you don't know who Tekashi 6ix9ine is, he is a New York rapper, 22 years old. His name is Daniel Hernandez, and he's been around for probably about 2 or 3 years, and he's just been blowing up the charts. Regardless of how you feel about this guy, he has been doing really well. And there's a video right here I'll put in the iCard. I talk about how well he trolls. He's a troll, straight up internet troll. He knows what he's doing. He's a marketing genius, but the problem is now everything has caught up with him. This video in particular is about the mistakes that I believe led him to this point. Starting off with this. Of course, his affiliation with the Blood Gang was already something that people were very leery about, which I believe is one of the reasons why the FBI was on his tail. Yes, this is now a Fed case. The federal government was the one that arrested him under, different circumstances. So the point I'm making is that Tekashi 6ix9ine made the mistake of building his team around men that he couldn't control. He's actually mentioned this a few times in an interview that he did with Fat Joe. And he was mentioning the fact that there's so many men in his group, so many people that helped him get where he is, that in essence, it is impossible to control what they do on a street level, okay? Now, I believe, in essence, if he would have had an understanding of making sure he had better management, a better team, maybe he wouldn't be in this situation. But that also goes into the idea that he was a major troll. So, gang affiliation is a great way to get your name out there. Lil Wayne did it. There's plenty of rappers that did it. Snoop Dogg did it at first when he was, of course, he was repping Crips. He did it at first for a very long time. Gang affiliation is a great way to get into the rap game because a large proportion and a large demographic of rap and hip-hop listeners are gang affiliated. So it just made his life easier to do that. But now, going into a more criminal aspect, going into an actual, you might go to prison aspect, that was a huge mistake on his part. Because now, even let's assume 6ix9ine is completely innocent of all charges. RICO charges. RICO charges are actually associated with what they used to do back in the 1920s and 30s, right? So you would have big mob bosses like Al Capone, who would never pull the trigger, who was never at the scene of the crime, but he would encourage his team to go and attack people and kill people. So what the government came up with was something called RICO charges, where even if you are not directly associated with the crime, if you are in some way indirectly associated with the crime, then you too are going to prison. So racketeering, shooting, and theft are all three things that Tekashi 6ix9ine is now associated with and may go to prison for a maximum of life. So right now, his biggest mistake, the mistake that he made was going way too far with his gang affiliation. There's one thing to mention them in a song or two. There's another thing to be so deep and entrenched in it that you're now associated with the gang life activity that goes along with it. I think that personally, I'm not sure if he's going to go to prison or not. This is what I think. I think there's a huge chance he might actually end up getting a few years. Between, I believe, probably like 10 and 3. Between 3 and 10 years he'll probably get. I'll tell you why. His lawyers are working really hard to make sure that he doesn't fall into the trap of going to trial and losing. If you don't know, going to trial here in America means you're wasting taxpayer money and you're wasting time. If you end up losing, not only do you pay for all that, but you go to prison longer. So I believe his lawyer is going to end up coming up with some strategy to make sure that he settles. Not settle with money, but essentially settle, meaning he's going to just take a minimum of maybe 7 years and just call it a day. If he goes to trial and tries to fight it, more than likely he will lose because the federal government they love cases like this. Because usually somebody like Tekashi 6ix9ine is only a small part of a larger crime organization. Although he might be a pinky to the body of the organization, he could still lead them to a much larger situation. So at the end of the day, he is a master troll. I believe he accomplished his goal. You type in, this is what I did. You go to Google, you type in T. Don't even type in his whole name, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Type in T and he'll come up. The first result. because he has successfully marketed himself to be a rainbow hair, rainbow teeth, tattoos everywhere guy who is wild on stage. And now, I believe, with this case, his whole career might end up crashing and burning. After he gets out of prison, let's say he goes. After he gets out of prison, I still don't think his career is going to be where he wants it to be. And I'll tell you why. The internet is so quick. One moment it's here, the next moment it's there. It's so fast that within 3 months, it's almost like a year in internet time, okay? So because he's such a troll and he's such a, monster when it comes to marketing, I believe he might have some steam leading up to his release, but I don't believe it's gonna be where he is now. There's gonna be some new artist with some new gag and gimmick that's gonna get people on board, and it's just gonna be different, okay? Now I know what you're thinking. XXXTentacion, he did it. He was able to go to jail and come out, go to jail and come out. True. But he wasn't in prison for 7+ years. He wasn't in prison for life. He wasn't in prison for anywhere that long. So what I'm saying is Tekashi 6ix9ine, if he ends up going to prison for anywhere longer than 3 years, his whole career may be over by the time he gets out. His Instagram lost steam, his YouTube videos lost traction, and there will be somebody else to take his place. I never want to see anybody going to prison because prison is just a terrible place. And I will say this. Every consequence has an action that comes before it. Everything that he's in prison for right now, everything that he might go to prison for, it was essentially his fault. He put himself in a position where he would be on a chair, on a hot seat in a courtroom. So anybody out there who's an aspiring artist or rapper or whatever, I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Don't go down the road that Tekashi 6ix9ine went down. You don't need to go that way. There's no reason to go that way. The internet is a big, healthy place for you to grow and thrive without having a controversy or shootings or people dying on your watch. Don't do it. I respect Tekashi 6ix9ine, but I also respect the fact that people have to live and make money, but doing it in ways that won't put you in prison. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, if you don't know who Tekashi 6ix9ine is, go do some research. Go listen to this music. His first song, I believe, that really hit was Gumbo. So go listen to Gumbo. I like the song. I like his music. That's the thing. I like Tekashi 6ix9ine's music. 6ix9ine, I believe, is a hardcore hip-hop artist. Okay, let me reel that back. I believe he's a hip-hop a hardcore artist. I'm not sure if he's a hip-hop artist. I'll put it in a link up here. I actually explain how there's kind of like a differentiation between hip-hop and rock nowadays. I think he's somewhere in that range between hip-hop and rock. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great day and a better tomorrow and a great Thanksgiving. I love you guys. God bless. I'll see you all later.